So I was born here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, March 4th, 1987. I grew up with, I got a really big family, but really I grew up with two sisters and I had two older brothers, but they didn't live with us. So I lived with two sisters and obviously my mom and dad. And my mom and dad was wild dynamic, so they actually were 30 years apart. So that made things weird. It made things different. Not weird. Natural dysfunction in my household, you know. And growing up, there was a lot of. I grew up not rich. I didn't grow up super poor, but I didn't grow up middle class neither. So there was a lot of. I don't know. It just wasn't good. You know, there's a lot of poverty in there too, I guess, if that makes sense. I grew up, I went to a bunch of different schools in elementary. I went to one middle school and I went to one high school. My mom was different. My mom was very sheltering, but she was, I don't want to use the word abusive because I think that's too strong, but she was definitely very, not well. She was an alcoholic, lots of years of drug use, and my dad enabled that. You know, my dad loved my mom, a weird love. I mean, he loved her so much, and allowed her to just walk on him, walk on us, and do whatever she wanted to do, however she wanted to do it, and that made things rough growing up. A lot of crazy outbursts, a lot of fights, a lot of arguing, a lot of separations between my parents. As time went on, I grew to, it was normalized in my house for mom to be drunk and then dad to, you know, protect mom. And the drug use and the drinking got more and more and more. The more drinking, not so much the drug use, but the drinking got heavier and heavier. So my mom actually, she passed away in 2021 from a heroin overdose, alone in a hotel room. And my mom and I didn't have the best relationship, you know, especially going into adulthood. We didn't do a whole lot of talking. We didn't do a lot of talking because my mom did a lot of things that were just things that a mom wouldn't do. As I got older, I was able to, 16 or so, 17, you know, I got to a point to where it was okay for me to drink at home, as long as I was at home. But, you know, obviously a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, wherever I can go, I was gonna go drink anyways, you know. And that was just kind of normalized. The party life in my house was normal. And like anybody else, I guess that progressed to drugs. You know, it went to high school, dropped out of high school. Technically would have been my senior year, I dropped out my senior year, but technically would have been like my sophomore year. I didn't have grades to get further than my sophomore year in high school. So I dropped out of high school, and that's when I actually, right around the same time I met my wife. We met in high school. And smoking weed, drinking, and doing whatever little pills that I could find. I didn't really get into harder drugs until I was 23 or so. I was 23. And cocaine. Cocaine was the drug that I started out with, about 23 years old. Did cocaine for about 2-3 years. Did cocaine real hard. And got into that party scene that party life, going to the strip clubs, the nightclubs, and partying all night until I can't go anymore, spending every dollar I had on cocaine, spending every dollar I had on alcohol, drugs, you know, all of those things. And I don't know what started the whole, I remember, so I had a job working third shift, and I was doing cocaine, and I had to go to work. And a buddy of mine was like, I was on my way to work and I was coming down off cocaine, and that's probably the worst come down ever. I absolutely hated it. And I'm like, man, I do not want to go to work. But I had to go to work because it was at that point to where I was going to point out and I was gonna lose my job, but I needed my job. And he's like, well, I got something for you, bud. And I'm like, well, I don't even care what it is, just give it to me, let's just do it. So we crushed up a line of crystal meth, and that was all she wrote. You know, it was crystal meth for, I don't know, close to 10 years. Maybe a little longer than 10 years, right around 10 years. So, and in that time, so we had my daughter, Jada, before I started doing cocaine. And I was a young man doing what I was supposed to be doing, just kind of drinking here and there. And we had my daughter, and then the drugs started. And then that obviously was very damaging to that relationship, most of her young childhood. And after I started doing crystal meth, and then we had my son Axel, and we had him in the height of all the drugs. So I was the drug user. My wife, she drank a little bit, but drugs were definitely my thing. I loved to do drugs. I did. And as time goes on, things obviously weren't going to get any better. Things were getting worse. Things were getting bad. My son was 5. No, I'm sorry, he was 4. My son was 4. My daughter was 15. And my wife had enough. She said, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do it no more. You got to stop with the drugs. And so she left. She left. And I was at work one day, and she called me and said, I'm leaving, and literally cleaned out the house. I came home to a clean house with nothing in it, absolutely nothing. So her and the kids were gone, and it was just me then. And even then, it still wasn't enough for me to stop. I kept going, kept doing drugs. And then I had sold everything I had, everything. I had sold my cars, I sold my house, sold all my tools. I basically had sold my family, and jumped in a semi with a friend of mine, and we cruised the country for about 4 months. Getting high, stopping places wherever we could to get drugs. It wasn't drugs, it was crystal meth. And it got to a point to where it was so dark and so low. I'd come back to Fort Wayne, and I went to Parkview Behavioral. I walked from the truck stop out off of Coliseum, because that's where we stopped at. I stopped there, walked all the way from there to Parkview Behavioral off of State Street. Told them I wanted to kill myself. This is how low I was. And they let me stay there for like 9 days. And it was long enough for me to get sober. And I was like, yep, this isn't for me. I'm leaving. I'm good. I'm fine. I can leave. So I left, and I walked to Melissa's house. And I said, hey, look, I'm clean. I'm good. And she's like, yeah, I don't know yet. And against her better judgment, she let me stay there. She let me stay. And yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Instantly started fighting, started arguing. And I had stole her car. I took her car. And she needed her car for work. She works for herself. And I stole her car, and I went and met with the guy that I was went and cruised across the country with. Went and met with him. And we got a hotel room and just sitting there getting high. And Melissa she had found me. Somebody told her where I was at. So she came and took her car, and this is leading up to going into rehab. And she came and took her car, and the girl that she was with that told her that where I was mad. I was furious. I was so angry. And that's what made me want to go to rehab. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go burn her house down. I don't care if she's in it or not. I'm going to burn her house down. And because that's how I felt. I wanted her to feel the pain that I felt. But I was like, I'm going to rehab, and I don't want the drugs to be at fault, so I'm gonna go to rehab, and I'm gonna get clean, and I'm gonna get out, and I'm gonna go burn her house down. And so I went to rehab, and I was there for about 9 days. I was there long enough to go through the detox, to sleep it off, and wake up and sneak out of rehab. And as I was sneaking out, this guy named Lucas comes running down the sidewalk. He's like, hey, wait, where are you going? And I was like, I'm leaving. I can't do it. I'm going to get high. He's like, all right, well, that's fine. If you want to leave, you can, but I need you to come back in and I need you to sign some paperwork, fill out some paperwork. And I was like, all right, doesn't matter, I'm still leaving. So I went back and he was like, hey, stand here and talk to Vaughn for a second. Or talk to Mike. It was Mike, I'm sorry, talk to Mike. Talk to Mike for a minute. So I'm sitting there, I'm talking to Mike, and Mike's like, man, what can I do to get you to stay? And I was like, I ain't staying. He's like, there's got to be something that I can do to get you to stay. And I was like, all right, let me call my wife. He's like, I don't know if I can. I was like, well, I'm leaving. He's like, all right, fine. So he takes me upstairs, he takes me in this closet, and he calls my wife for me, and she didn't answer. Calls her back, and she answers, and she's like, what do you want? I was like, hey, I'm at rehab, I'm clean. One of those. I was like, I'm getting clean. She's like, well, that's good, I'm glad, good for you. You need to get clean because you got kids to raise. And I'm like, well, I'm doing this for us. She's like, you ain't doing it for me, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore, you're on your own, done. And I'm bawling hysterically, I'm not doing well, and that Mike dude's trying to console me, and I'm like, I don't care, I'm leaving. He's like, well, we'll go outside, smoke a cigarette with Vaughn, and if you want to leave after that, you can leave. And I was like, all right. So I go downstairs, and Vaughn's standing outside, and he's like, what's up, man? What's going on? I was like, I'm leaving. He's like, well, hold on a second, let's smoke a cigarette, let's talk about this first. So we smoke a cigarette, and he's like, hang on a second, I got something for you. And he goes back inside, and he comes back out, and he's like, hey, look, do me a favor, take this book, go upstairs and read it, and if you want to leave, you can leave in the morning. Just go upstairs and read it tonight, and you can leave in the morning. And what he gave me a King James version, a King James Bible. So I go back upstairs to my room, and I'm sitting down in my bed, and it's literally, so to try to paint a picture of what was going on, I'm sitting in my bed, and it's like a prison cell. I'm sitting in my room, and there's this really lowly lit light right above my bed. And I sat there, and I open up this King James Version Bible, and first thing I open up to Psalm 69:1, and I started reading. And I felt like this was God speaking directly to me. Hey, look, bud, just letting you know, it's that time. And it was, so it's Psalm 69:1-5. It says, save me, O God, for the waters have come up to my neck. I sink in the mere depths where there is no foothold. I have come into deep waters. The floods engulf me. I am worn out, calling for help. My throat is parched, my eyes fail, looking for my God. Those who hate me without reason outnumber the hairs on my head. Many are my enemies without cause. Those who seek to destroy me, I am forced to restore what I did not steal. You, God, know my folly. My guilt is not hidden from you. And I read that, and I instantly, again, the emotions just came back over me. And I'm like, obviously this is it. I mean, I felt like that was his way of telling me, like, look, bud, you're drowning. And without me, you're gonna continue to drown. You're never gonna get out of this. I'm coming out of my room, and my counselor or therapist, his name's Brad, amazing dude. We didn't really like each other at the beginning, and this is reasons why, but he comes up the stairs and he sees me, and he's like, hey, Tony, can I talk to you? And I'm thinking, I'm finally gonna get out of this detox room. I'm gonna go get my own room. He's like, hey, come downstairs, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, all right, man. So I go downstairs, and obviously the emotions are still high because I'm still coming down. And he's like, how you doing? I'm like, how do you think I'm doing? He's like, well, I got something for you. And I was like, I don't want it. He's like, well, I got to give it to you. And I was like, well, I don't want it. He's like, you know what it is, don't you? And I was like, well, I don't know exactly what it is, but I got a pretty good idea. I think I know what it is. And he takes the paper, and he flips them over, and he slides them across the table, and they come sliding to me, and it's divorce papers. Unless had served divorce papers to me while I was in rehab. And he kind of chuckled about it, he's like, because I don't know why he felt like it was, and maybe replaying this in my head, that was just the emotions playing tricks on my head that he laughed at me, because I felt like he was laughing at me. And I got up and I stormed out of there, and I went upstairs, and I told the director, I'm like, look, dude, if you put me in that dude's class, I'm gonna put him to sleep. And he's like, oh, you can't threaten staff. And I'm like, obviously some other words were said, and he tells me I need to go back to my room and I need to relax. So I go back to the detox room, And I told him, I was like, I'm not going back. You guys can kick me out if you want. I don't really care. So I was there for another 2 days, and one of the techs comes in my room, because they wake you up every morning to go to group. Every morning group is, I think it starts at 7, maybe 8 o'clock. And you got 4 hours of group time. But it actually goes till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But overall, you have 4 hours of group time. And the tech comes in and she sits on my bed and she's like, hey, you're gonna have to go to group, they're gonna kick you out. I was like, I don't really care. I mean, at this point now, my wife had just filed for divorce. I'm stuck in this room that smells like awful things. And I'm like, I don't really care at this point. And she goes, she's like, you gotta do this for yourself. If you don't do this for yourself, you're gonna be back in here. And it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next week, but you'll be back, and you'll be back again, you'll be back again. Until you do this for yourself, you're gonna keep coming back. So I get up and I go to group, and like the first 3 or 4 days that I'm in there, I don't say a single word. I'm just sitting in there. You know, it's cold, I'm annoyed, I don't really want to be here. I don't really care about anybody else's problems. This is me. And Brad comes in. He comes into the room one day, and he's like, he does this music therapy thing where he gives you the lyrics to a song, and he plays the song. Nobody talks. Everybody just listens to the words, and then you discuss the song afterwards. But it's it was usually music that had to do with some type of recovery, and it was an Alanis Morissette song, and Alanis Morissette was one of my mom's favorite artists. And it was one of my mom's favorite songs, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, this dude has no idea. He's asking everybody questions about, you know, what their opinion is on the song, how do they feel about the song, this, that, and the other. And I was like, and he gets around to me, and I honestly don't think he was expecting me to say anything. And I was like, this was one of my mom's favorite songs. I've known this song my entire life, and I did not know that this was the meaning to this song. I didn't know these were the lyrics. And this was one of my mom's favorite songs. And he's like, well, that's good. And I'm like, yeah, well, she died of a drug overdose a few years ago. He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And that completely changed the whole dynamic of group and everything that was going on in there. And then I was able to speak up and speak out and talk and work through a lot of those traumas that, you know, from early childhood that I didn't know that I had. You know, I found myself crying in front of a bunch of men when I'm talking about my childhood issues, and you know, I feel like a lot of this plays into the fact that, you know, after I'd gotten those divorce papers, and after I'd heard that song and we had that discussion in group, I went back to that King James Bible that he gave me, and not knowing what I'm reading and not being able to understand most of that Bible, I still read it every day. I read it every day until I left there. And on my last day there, they do a coin ceremony where, you know, everybody there, you pass your coin around and everybody affirms you. And the counselor or whatever, he gets my coin, and he's like, Tony, I've been doing this for 30 some years, and of the 30 some years, I've never had somebody like you. You know, I've learned very little from other people, and I've learned a lot from you just sitting here talking to you. And he's like, yeah, he's like, you know, not everybody else in the classroom knows, but when you first started coming, you know, I tried to have you put out of my class because you had threatened to hit me. And I wasn't going to put up with that. And I'm like, I don't blame you. And it was good affirmation. It was a good affirmation, and I felt like that was key to staying sober when I got out. That I was able to have that conversation with him, I guess, before I left. And I got out and I went and stayed with my sister, and I was really angry when I got out because I wanted to go see my kids. I wanted to see my kids. I'm like, hey, I'm clean, I'm sober, I want to go see my kids. I'm all healed, I'm all better. And that's not the case. You know, just because you go do a 30-some day program doesn't mean you're fixed and you're better all of a sudden. And so Melissa, when I got out and I went to go see the kids, and Melissa wouldn't, she's like, no, I don't trust it. I'm not doing it. You want to see the kids, you need to go get your brother. And because that was part of the court order, or that was part of the divorce agreement. If I wanted to see the kids, that I needed to have supervision. And my brother was going to be, she wanted my brother to be that supervision. She's like, if you want to see the kids, you need to go get your brother and you can come see the kids. And I'm like, I'm not going to get my brother to see my kids. I'm not going to hurt my kids. She's like, it doesn't matter. That's what, if you want to see the kids, you need to go get your brother. And obviously that didn't go over well. And, you know, I was mad, and obviously she's hurt and she's mad too. And it took a few weeks before we were able to have an actual conversation, to actually talk. And she asked me if I wanted to go to church. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, we can go to church. I was like, I don't know how you feel about me coming to church. I was like, if you want, you can go to church. I'll go to a different service so that we're not there together. She's like, no, I want you to come with me. I'm like, okay. So I went to church with her, and that was the start of an amazing journey to where I am now. After I got out of rehab and I started going to church, City Church they were doing baptisms, and I was like, I want to go get baptized. So I went and got baptized. I didn't tell anybody. I went and got baptized. And I've continued to grow exponentially since then in my walk with Christ, with my family, in my community. One of my favorite things to do now is every month, Avenues hosts a speaker meeting. And I get to go and speak to all the clients there and share my testimony with them. And that's probably my favorite thing to do now. I love doing it. So Misfits Ministries is my second love. God has led me to go and serve the homeless downtown and fall in love with a group of people that I never in a million years would have ever have thought that I would know, that I would love, that I adore. Like I work part-time at the church, and that is probably, that's a highlight of mine. I like working part-time at the church. One of my favorite days working at the church is baptisms. I get to go to all 3 services and hang out with everybody. I get to talk with everybody that's getting baptized. I get to help people work through those nerves that they're dealing with, that they're feeling before they get baptized, and put a smile on people's faces. And the community that I've built there, just working there, you know, has definitely been a huge part in my recovering and staying recovered and doing what I do, for sure. Eventually, the goal would be to work full-time in a rehab facility, you know, to share this story, to share my story. Just to, I guess, like I said, to be that light. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out, and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. I live by that now. I want to be that light for other people. That's kind of the reason why we're doing this. And I want to make sure that God knows that everything that I have, everything that I do is because of Him. The relationship that I've rebuilt with my daughter is amazing. So when I got out of rehab the first time and I showed up at the house, just surprised her, she's like, oh my gosh, Dad, I love you. The second time I got out of rehab, she wouldn't talk to me for months. She wanted nothing to do with me. She hated me. And rightfully so. I mean, there was no reason why I should have ever put her through those things, and there's no reason why she shouldn't have felt that way. And now today, she's almost as close of friends as a father and daughter can be. I mean, our relationship is rebuilt on Christ for sure. She's my prayer partner. We pray together every single night. She's volunteering in the kids ministry at church. She wants to be baptized now, and these are all things that she would have never. I mean, she did not. When I got out of rehab and we first started going to church, she's been going to church, but when I started going to church, she's like, I don't want to do this. I just don't want to be here. And I'm like, you're coming. We're going. And now where we are now, like I said, she volunteers in the kids ministry. We pray together daily. Life is amazing. And I couldn't imagine it any other way. My dad is still alive. My dad is actually 91 years old. Like I said in the beginning, my parents were 30 years apart. I have 2 younger sisters, and I have 2 older brothers from my mom. My dad has 11 kids, so in total there's 13. I have 13 siblings. And in March, or a few years ago, my wife did an ancestor DNA, one of those ancestor DNA tests to find out who you are and all that. And back in March, my wife was like, "You gonna do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll find it." I finally did it. She had been pushing me to do it for the longest time. I finally did it, and I got the results back. And on one side, I knew everybody. And then on the other side, there's a whole list of people that I didn't know, and my sisters that had done one came back as my half-sisters. And so in March of this year, I found out that my dad was not my biological dad, which would have been absolutely crushing if it would have been 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I probably would have hulked out and I would have tore up everything. I would have been mad at the world. I would have, everyone would have been to blame, and today, because I've been able to do this with Christ, it was an emotional roller coaster. It was definitely emotional for sure, but it was easy to do. It was heartbreaking to learn that your biological dad is not your biological dad, and slowly learning who this person is. I've not met anyone from that side of the family yet. My biological dad is deceased, but my dad that raised me, my father, my dad, whatever, however you want to call it, he's 91 years old. And we've been able to build a different relationship since I've been clean. So before when I was doing drugs, we didn't talk a whole lot. I didn't talk to him very often. And every Saturday I go pick him up from dialysis. And so today at 2:30 I'll go pick him up from dialysis, and we'll go have lunch and we hang out. And yeah, it's interesting, to have a completely different relationship and how things work now. It didn't take long to change things. So my wife and I, she had made a comment on our anniversary. So our anniversary as of right now is September 11th, and we've been married for 15 years. We were able to reconcile everything, obviously, and we've been married for 15 years. We've been together for 20 years, since high school. And she had made a comment the first year, since I'd gotten out of rehab, the first year clean. She said, we've been together for 14 years, and this is we've been married for 14 years, and this is the first year I've actually felt married to you. And I can't say how true that statement is. Our relationship is so much better. We're so much closer. She's literally my best friend now. We're doing a little sooner, but we're going to renew our vows next September 6th. We're going to renew our vows because our relationship now has been centered in God, and everything we do is Christ-based. With our kids, we wake up daily. We spend time in the Word together before we go to work. Our ministry is together. You know, obviously our kids are our first ministry. Misfits is another one. We do that Sunday together, every Sunday. And we love doing it. Life is amazing now, for sure. And I know I've said that a million times, and I'll say it a million more times, but life is good with Christ in the center. Life is good with Christ in the center.